Tonight, Bill, can you?
You are listening to the Doug Stanhope Podcast.
The potato peelings in the sink did not turn into vodka as I had hoped. I only start to need a drink after the liquor stores have closed. I heard you changed your name again, but don't you change your hair. It was the only thing I liked about you in the end. La la la.
Yeah. Tom Rhodes is finally here. Tom Rhodes can explain.
What's up, Ggreg? How are you,
Hello, sweetheart.
You're off mic, Rhodes. Come on, you're killing this.
We were there's a cold Pepsi right here.
Is it cold?
He's cold enough.
There's ice. There's ice for it to make it.
It was cold when you should have been here.
Yeah. Tom Rhodes. Hey, this is the Doug Stanhope Podcast, by the way. We're in Vegas. The only ones with mics are Andy Andrist and Glenn Wool.
Hello.
And Tom Rhodes just showed up. He said he'd be here in an hour, about 2.5 hours ago. And we planned our drunk. Glenn Wool and I were planning our drunk around you. And now we're way drunker. And we said, fuck him. We'll just start podcasting.
Yeah.
So, I think Chaille's trying to find a fourth mic. All right. Quiet off mic. All right. So where were we? Panamint Springs.
Philosophically.
Death Valley party? Was that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Whoa,
Well, we put the swimming pool in room 4.
Okay,
Really
but
bad. Just cleaned out all the furniture and stacked it up and put a kiddie pool in the motel room.
so,
And they came down, and someone who was at the front desk when housekeeping came in and said, they have a swimming pool in room 4. She goes, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Is that code? Is there a fire?
how many years did we do this?
7 years.
7 years of the party. Okay,
Death Valley,
so
where-
7 years of having this party out in Panamint Springs. How did you find the place originally?
I was opening for Lewis Black. I played Vegas, and then I was opening for Lewis Black in Bakersfield. So we're just trying to find back roads just to amuse ourselves because we had time to kill and days to kill. And we drove past that spot in Panamint Springs, and we were like, fuck this, we got to stop. Hennigan was driving ahead of us, so we had to leave him messages. Come back. Get back here. We got to come to this place. And he had to wait till he got cell phone service to get the message and then drive 30 miles back. So we hung out there. I don't know if we spent the night that night. But we decided, we have to have a party here. It's so in the middle of nowhere.
It's so when I just drove it today, and it's so much like you get off 395, I think it is, and then when you get into Death Valley, you just say it's like you're in a different planet. You're driving down into the crater of the moon, and then in the moon there's a place with a few snacks and 12 cabins and a guest house, and then camping accommodations.
Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to be a hard-ass cop in the middle of Death Valley? Like, they'd just kill you. Like, they're so, like, once you fucked with somebody too much,
oh, yeah.
just be a bleached skull in the middle of the desert and like, oh, that cop, I don't know what happened to him.
Well, we did 7 years there, and after, like, year 4 or 5, there were reports, like, even from the locals that, that guy's that was a cop undercover trying to sniff out what's going on.
But some of that was just Inman being paranoid, right?
Like
I mean,
Becker
most of
says, it's better to be paranoid and wrong.
Yeah. Because I would think that I would think that anybody who's out there, it would be like, that's like Lone Wolf. Like, that's a detective who's out there, the captain hasn't seen him in weeks. hasn't.
No, that's a guy that's just making up
Yeah.
shit just because you don't want to be a cop for nothing.
I'm gonna
You
pin
don't want
this.
to be a cop in a peaceful town. That's against every reason. You want in the shit.
I want to plant this.
Most of being a cop is just sitting around. Well, is that a bad thing? That means nothing's going on. Is that a bad thing? You hate the lack of crime, you cocksucker?
Yeah, I just love noticing rapes. That's why I got into this business.
Noticing. I never look. It's like it's like an accident. You don't want to notice because of the cameras.
So you
You don't want to be ambivalent.
Do you have any idea where you were going with that? We were talking about the pool in room 4. You were at some story, and I went, wait, let's fucking hit record.
I think it was when we, Schlissel tried to go to bed early one night, like an idiot, and everyone dressed up like a marching band, or it was,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
like sort of kicked his door in, and we all just came into his room, and he sort of burst out of bed, and he was, "What time is it?"
Who is this?
Schlissel.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, like the time had anything to do with anything.
Well-
like I've got a marching band in here, and it's 3:00 in the morning. I ordered this for 5.
As I drove through today, I saw 3 different coyotes wandering around. Like I was wondering, did I not notice them before because of all the hallucinogenics?
You just thought they were your buddies.
But now they're all around. They're like beggars on the side of the road now. But
yeah, they noticed you. He's back.
I thought I was a coyote.
Hang on, Tom Rhodes is on mic now.
Tom Rhodes.
Is
Am I
that the
on
mic
now?
he has to be
Yeah.
very
Can I
careful
tell you
with?
my
Yeah.
best Panamint desert party moment?
Yeah.
Chaille made these. He put these glow sticks on kites, and we went and lied in the road.
Was that you or is that Becker? That's
You didn't
Becker.
do that, or Becker did that? Oh man, that was great. And we're on mushrooms and we're lying in a road that's like a
Matt-
functioning road.
Hey,
Like a car or a truck could come at any minute.
Matt Becker had
MacGyver of
all
goofiness.
He
Eagle
packed.
fishing.
He packed exactly. He packed more like trivial things in
Sky fishing for raven.
exactly flight mouse traps in the sky.
He put up no. It's a
With-
giant helium balloon on a fishing rod with a mouse trap attached to the balloon with a sardine in the mouse trap, and he's just sitting out there in a lawn chair at 6:30 in the morning saying, "I'm sky fishing for raven."
and did it for an hour.
Wow.
And he's the one who put the kite together. But I remember that it's still valid. That point that you're going to make right
Did
now.
he catch anything?
No, there wasn't a bird in the sky, but
A hell of a sunburn.
Well, I'm telling you, it was at night.
But he did it.
for a
It was at
ginger.
night, and the stars in the desert were just absolutely stunning. They look close enough for you to jump up
remember
and
that.
grab them. And these kites with the glow sticks, and we're holding the string, and we're like kind of part of the.
And it's pitch black. This is the
Yeah.
desert. There's no like city lights. It's pitch black. So you're just staring at fucking glow sticks. on a kite.
So mescaline, fire, fire for
Trial.
the fire trial for the douchebag. But I
think we
remember
talked about this
at
on
the
the
edge
last
of
Glenn Wool appearance.
the desert, staring out at the mountains and watching the mountains melt away and then build themselves back up. So I'm watching thousands of years go by, just like in the blink, and Doug's staring at it, laughing like a madman, staring at the mountains going and dripping and coming back. And then I look at Matt Becker, who's in a deviled egg outfit, as some semblance of normalcy in this going, fucking thousands of years, man. My life is fucking pissed away fucking 10,000 times. And Becker's in an egg outfit being all devilish. It's just fucking
It's
ridiculous.
a giant foam egg outfit from his knees to over his head with his face coming through with horns on the egg.
Yeah,
I'm a deviled egg.
You can't hallucinate a deviled egg. It has to be there. But while you're hallucinating and there's a deviled egg there, it's fucking outrageous.
Can I tell you my worst
Yes.
Panamint moment? I met Andy Andrist there.
Oh, no.
And he's
we've
from
all
Oregon.
got this story.
He's from Oregon. We have this conversation about the Nike Corporation. It was a 3-minute conversation. He loses his shoes.
I lost one
He
shoe.
lost
I-
his Nikes.
Let
One
him
night,
tell
for
his
some
story.
reason,
All right.
he gets it in his head that I have possession of his shoe. So
Dude.
every time this guy sees me and he's whacked out of his skull on drugs, he keeps coming up and he's like he's on mushrooms, so he's getting really emotional. And he keeps coming up to me at this party going, seriously, man, can I have my shoe back? I know you got it, man. Can you come on? And I'm like, I do not have your fucking shoe.
But I see how he
away from
switched from
me.
shoes to shoe.
So that was kind of a party killer for me.
Well, you should have seen Andrist at the Super Bowl party where your ex-girlfriend from head of the class, and maybe this is
Unrelated
an
to the
80s
shoe.
sitcom.
Was that the one I saw you
thing.
there a couple years ago?
When you were pestering that woman, what was her name?
Christine Haas.
Yeah, you were in like a football helmet and a wheelchair, just chasing her around the party.
I was
asking her questions about Howard Hessman.
I was test marketing a situation. and a lot of times people who are on camera in the 80s are people you can gauge their emotions on.
I don't even know what
Seen
that
'em.
means. It's funny.
Howard Hessman, of course. Okay, but when Rhodes explained that, because we've talked about it, he said shoes, initially missing shoes, and then he went to specifically.
No, you said one. Okay,
But
I
yeah,
still
was
think
it
you
one?
stole
But-
his shit. I thought it was two. I
But
thought you kept coming up to
but
me asking
one
about-
shoe went missing.
I've tried to block the whole experience.
I know
out,
he was
Andy.
having a bad trip, and so was
I might
I. But
be
I was
fuzzy
like,
on
man,
that.
Did I ever tell you I thought you stole my camera in a
What?
see,
Yeah.
yes, this has. I held back on
Good
this.
money? I'm not. You guys,
This is
Well,
we weren't
hey,
making good
Rhodes,
money.
where there's smoke, there's fire. If,
really
if
gonna take a
everyone
camera once?
I
thinks
thought, well, you know,
Hey,
just
Adrian
like-
Peterson would not beat 1 4-year-old, but if there's two,
hang on. Hang on. Since we're all spread across the room, let's not make this sound
right,
like
yeah.
we're talking over. It was the punchline, and this is like the Joey Jingle story, where I thought one time Joey Diaz stole my change jar. It was back in those days in the 90s.
you know, when a jar full of dimes meant something.
Yes, it did. But I left my camera in a green room at the punchline. And you had shown up from some other gig late. We're all fucked up,
High on
drinking
drugs,
after
I
hours back
believe.
when you could do that, when everyone was cool. And
I remember we had.
I'm like, dude, Tom Rhodes was the only guy back here. Do you think Tom Rhodes stole our camera? Well, I don't know. Do
you remember
he was
that?
looking for coke?
Do you remember we had some party back at
see,
my
so there was
room?
some that.
I think you might have been staying there too. It was the Jesus. It's on Sutter Street. The Punchline put the comedians there forever. Oh, the Commodore
had the
Inn.
Red Room.
The Commodore Inn.
Yeah, with the
Because I
Red
would
Room
always
was the
say I'm
bar.
staying in the easy like Sunday morning suite. I had a party where we brought a bunch of people from the Punchline and Doug and whoever else was there, and we're all doing coke and drinking vodka. It was a late night. The next day, I wake up and I am fucking wrecked, and I need a cup of coffee. And there was a cup full of water, and I just thought, I'll just throw that in the little coffee maker. And it turned out it was vodka. And so I take a sip, and I think, oh, well, maybe this is the
Boiling vodka is
maybe,
really a
maybe
good
this
treat.
Is, maybe this is the new Reese's peanut butter cup. Remember the commercial? The guy like trips and the
Yeah,
chocolate
You
bar
got
goes in the
vodka in
peanut
my
butter,
coffee.
and that's how they invented it.
That-
So I take a couple more sips, and I can firmly report it's not the new Reese's peanut butter cup. Vodka coffee is not gonna take off
Tom now no
anytime
longer
soon.
drinks.
outside of a missing shoe
You
at
think
Death
about it.
Valley, my low point. Okay, all right,
Go ahead.
all right. My
Your
low
low
point
point?
at Death Valley.
this is gonna
Well,
take
this
some
is
time.
drug related as well because we were all me and Tom and there were others. I'm sure Inman, that cunt, was somewhere around, and we were huddled into a bathroom and we had some cocaine. Check 1-1. Some cocaine and we were looking for something to put it on, and I had merch because I had my comedy club going. And it's like, oh, let me grab that. And Tom grabs the cocaine out of the bag and says, "This is how Richard Belzer does it," and then spills a lot of, cocaine, which is very valuable at the party. So that
actually is how Richard Belzer does it.
I know, and that's what led to my
Well, Andy,
investigation
I
of the shoes. That's why you became hot because you said Belzer. Investigation, the shoe was hot after that.
Well, I just want you to know that, once every 10 years, I buy a pair of tennis shoes. I don't wear tennis shoes that often, but I just started to walk, and I had some old ratty-ass pair of tennis shoes, and I want you to know, I specifically didn't get Nike because
Oh,
of you.
yeah.
I was like, fuck Nike. They
Well,
ruined
you
my
had-
desert party.
Well,
You,
you know
you
what?
had
We-
to get
we have
whatever
a
shoe
special
he was
guest.
wearing. You know, he couldn't just.
We have a
couldn't
special
decide.
guest coming in right now. Tom Rhodes, welcome Maury Povich and the lie detector test.
It's just Ralphie May sitting in front of a burrito. That's the I don't know. That would gauge emotion though, right? Like you move the burrito to the right. I don't know how you could connect that to Tom Rhodes. And
Have
his-
you ever had that time in hotel rooms where you just were so glad you didn't accuse the staff of stealing?
Oh no, this was great.
Okay, yeah.
That's the ultimate thing when you're on the road and you're missing your bag of weed and you go to the desk and complain.
At
I think the staff took my
what was
drugs.
that? What was that shithole we stayed at, Doug?
Have we done that?
That's
That
what
sounds
really
really
no, Doug,
familiar.
at the
Have you
Wild West where we'd stay after the party.
Yeah.
I had some cocaine. Again, this was given to me by an African American. I just met in an alleyway. But I had some cocaine in my room. It went missing. Like I left for like 15
Everyone knows
minutes.
who you're talking about now.
But yeah. But anyway, so
It's
I
not
walked
really
in my room for like 15 minutes. The cocaine was missing. Like, hyper vigilant cleaning staff there at the Wild West. But Doug called the front desk, which I never thought was possible, to complain about such a loss. And Doug was like, no,
See,
he
I did
lost
think this
cocaine.
sounded familiar.
He lost.
We did
My
do this.
friend's cocaine was missing from his room. Then Doug explained it, and it did sound very reasonable. Like, yes, I should have my cocaine back, and yes, I should. When you rent a room, you rent it, and that you have
That's your
expectation
house.
that if you have a dead
The
whore
Wild
or cocaine,
West, for the record, is a place where they knowingly rent to addicts. Like it's a place you'll find. It's right by. I know I'm not going to even say the name of my friend's bar.
there should be a guy like
It's not
selling
like a
belts.
bad neighborhood. It's a bad hotel.
They
It's right by the Rio. Let's say that.
You
Right.
can't
That's in
can't
Vegas.
call
Yeah,
it
it's in
that
Vegas.
and then
Okay.
complain to the front desk.
There could be a guy selling belts in the lobby, and it wouldn't raise suspicion. It doesn't need to fit my waist. It'll fit the arm.
They sell belts at the gift shop. Those rubber tie-off things. Did you ever?
My low point of the desert, since you started a theme,
Yeah.
was the windy year. There was like 75-mile-an-hour winds. We had done. It was mushrooms.
Day shrimp. Was that
mushrooms,
Mocaine?
and that's where that Mark Ryan put the pool in the middle of the highway that you were, with this.
That dude, yeah.
Anyway, someone put the kiddie pool in the middle of the highway, but now it's daytime. At night, you can tell a car coming from a mile away, literally miles away, because but it was morning, and we set up this kiddie pool in the middle of the highway. And then cars occasionally would come, and they'd have to go around the kiddie pool on the yellow line. And there's people sitting in
Fucking
there with
Europeans.
goggles on.
Becker's there with a fishing line and a fishing rod tied to the pool.
Becker
had to be
wasn't
like
there that year.
Fishing for kids.
But this windstorm kicks up, and 75-mile-an-hour winds, and people are making makeshift whatever you call those Arab headdresses.
you get
an ISIS head, ISIS face.
You
mask.
get sandblasted. You can't stand anywhere because it's like rock and sand will like take away skin.
We were
off.
Tattoo
playing
removal.
tennis.
Yeah.
We were playing
Yeah.
tennis by ourselves in the road. The wind was so heavy, you could tap a tennis ball with a racket, and the wind would blow it eventually back to you. And
Or you hit
again.
you hit
was
it the
that-
opposite way and it would come back.
But then I got too crazy too early, and there was an accident down the highway. Like this is like a blackout sandstorm. It's like whiteout in the middle of the day, and there was an accident. So the accident victims came to this.
You remember how that happened though? So we were at the restaurant and the ladies slowed it. They were shitty as late Yelp. They sucked. And I was ordering my
Late
hamburger,
Yelp.
and the waitress goes, "Excuse me, there's a 911 call." Like I wasn't trying to be a dick. I was just trying to get a hamburger because I'd eaten a lot of mushrooms the night
Oh wait,
before.
you were at the accident.
Yeah, I
scene.
went to the accident scene because I said that offhand. Like, fuck it, like after your 911 call, could you get my hamburger order? It's a standard cheeseburger. And she got all fucking cunny and like raised hell with me. And then I went outside feeling bad, like she's going to spit in my burger, so I'm not going to order it now. And then I got in a car and went to the accident scene, and it was There was a Korean family in a van who hit some French Canadian on motorcycles, and I
The
realized
only people that are in Death Valley
Yeah.
are Europeans.
Yeah.
I
They're
realized
going, what's a security
I
guard
realized
doing
that
here?
they
Saved their whole life to
The only
ship
thing
their
I-
motorcycles over and drive around.
Yeah, the only thing I had to
That's
offer
true.
was sympathy or a translator, and I couldn't do either. So I just looked at them, but it was like, everybody was upset, and there was blood and everything, and then they eventually made it
Point
to the
is,
restaurant.
we're way too fucked up, way too early.
Which
And
one
this-
of you kooky Asians needs a bump? Because that's about all I got.
But in Death Valley, somebody going completely on their own, being on drugs and being completely fucked up with no idea about first aid, and able to contribute nothing. I was able to stand there and act like an authority, get a couple of pictures,
You
and
got
get back in my
pictures, yeah.
car.
So the only place for them to go is where our party is shut down for a private
Oh,
party.
right, the French bus that broke down. Yeah.
Well, that's a different year.
different
No, this
story.
is in the
Okay.
middle of a sandstorm. So they bring them up to Panamint Springs, and then we're all fucked. And I was with Renee at the time, and she's drunk as shit and not good with authority figures.
Yeah.
And I'm tripping my balls off, and cops and firemen all show up because that's where they brought the accident victims. And like, I can't fucking be around this. And Renee had just had a violent confrontation with cops not long before in L.A.
Well,
And so it's the only bad trip I've ever had.
I think
where I
almost
had to
any
hide in.
uniform that showed up at that point, like even if it was the Phoenix Cardinals, there would have been a weird animosity.
Well, we
'cause
had-
we're all geeked up.
We had our friend from another state who's an authority figure, no names, and you can talk cop talk, and you're kind of sober. And he went over like, yeah. And they go, we think there's more than just alcohol going on at this party. He's like, no, they've just been drinking all night, and it's into the next day. And so he talked them down. But I spent a good 6 hours fetal in a.
Well, that's what, because my dad was a cop. Anytime there was a party, I was sent to talk to I spoke cop. Hello, sir. How?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
yeah.
why I would bring the Indians to our party, because I could go out there and speak like, man, I got fucked over on real estate too, man.
You know, they made a
And,
documentary about that town, Darwin. Did you ever go to Darwin?
Uh-uh.
It's the closest. It's a ghost town, but there's
I
still like
almost went there
50
today,
people
but
that live there.
No.
Right up the road where the springs
It
are.
ain't changed.
It's past where the springs are. Anyway, so no. Anyway,
It eventually, but it's inhabited by people who should be dead already.
Oh, well, remember the woman? That's where you started your campaign for presidency, and you were asking the woman about the hills, and she goes, "That's where the Chinese live in their tunnel."
This was probably like,
they made a documentary called Darwin. There's
Yeah,
a documentary made about that
I think
town.
some
I don't know if you've
Swedish
seen it.
filmmakers.
Really?
But I want to see it to see which Indian's alive. Because when we left, when our last party, the cliffhanger was one of the Indians got cancer, and then I never figured out which one it was. Was it the one with the raspy voice or the older one? But they both.
Andy said that that campground they built yurts in, like actual durable tents. And you're going, oh, you're tempting me to start the party one
year-
last time.
Well, that's what I was saying. A soft opening.
So there's a
just a real quiet one.
we probably can't get both Indians because of the cancer and no medical services anywhere near there. But
Can
if the other one, he's game.
the time the French bus broke down. Can we tell that story? Is it?
We
you
told
had to
it
be
on
there?
my podcast.
Oh, we did.
Once
All
we
right.
talked about
Okay.
it. Yeah,
All right.
but because I thought you guys,
It's-
it was funny. This bus full of French tourists break down, and everybody is fucked
It's almost-
up. And somebody comes running for me.
Every one
"Hey,
of us, not
you-
them. The
you
French
speak
tourists were not.
French, right? And I think what everybody was really thinking was, "You've been to France, right?"
You extrapolate a lot of things.
4 words from high school French. I can say, "Mon crayon est jaune." My pencil is yellow. That's
La
fucking
grande
awesome.
fromage.
Ironically,
get
that's
that yellow
exactly
pencil?
what they needed to know.
So, and then you guys started dancing around the bus, and you're doing like the Hitler salute and shit.
No, they got.
Wait,
guys were
hang on.
goose-stepping.
Let's back up.
You brought a band
Let me
over
give
first?
context. This bus is broken down again. The only spot where anything that breaks down can go, like the people that.
Yeah.
So the bus has been sitting there forever. We're closed for a private party, and the restaurant is respecting that. And I'm like, they've been there for hours. Bring them in, feed them. So we let the restaurant open for them. And then we say, hey, let's have them as part of our party. And we wake up all the musicians who are dead asleep still because they just got to bed at noon. And everyone gets up and we seat them. We give them all the Cheetos and beer that we can.
Yeah,
cheese
yeah.
balls.
We made the mistake of thinking French would be grateful.
Yeah. And then Banjo Randy comes
Well,
out
being
and he
from
starts playing
Canada,
for
I
them,
can tell
and
you
they're just-
that is not the case.
They're evil and pissed.
Yeah.
And they just start walking out. This is like maybe 4 in the afternoon or 3 in the afternoon, whatever. It's
But they got nowhere to walk to.
They walk back to their fucking broken down bus that's not going
And
to
they
get
sit
fixed
on
for
it.
a long time.
Yeah.
That part ain't getting to fucking Panamint Springs overnight. And so they start walking out after we roused all the musicians to fucking get
Do a
up
show
and
for 'em.
To do a show for them. Free show, free beer, free snacks. And they're walking out with pissy looks on their face. This is so fuck them. We're going to bring this party as you walk out. We were actually literally carrying drums. Rob was on saxophone leading the band. Banjo Randy's
It turned into
playing.
like a Mardi Gras for
We had a-
unwilling French nitwits.
We had there was a 3-piece drum set, so we're carrying that so the
Mardi Gras,
drummer
sorry.
can walk and play.
Redundant.
Scott, yes, Scott Clabby. Thank you. There's not enough voices on this. Not enough people are talking over each other. Thank you. And we followed them carrying the drum set and every musician playing as they walked. We walked with them. It's like if someone walked out of your comedy show and
Yeah,
you just
like you
left
were-
the stage and kept telling them jokes all the way to their car, but their car wouldn't start, and you're just around their fucking dead bus. And everyone from our parties dancing in the gas station parking lot, fucking, and they were horrified.
It was it was like each person had their own person. It was like when I volunteered for the Special Olympics and had to hug a retard. It was like each person had a
That's
French
not-
person, and they
that's
were
not an event,
Each
is
one,
it?
each one was pissed off.
You know what? It's weird. That's the first time. I think that was the last party. That's the first time I remember everyone having their cell phones out filming. But it was before good cell
Yeah,
phone
I was thinking about nobody
video.
had Facebook.
I never saw any of that show up on YouTube. I'm like, I saw like a fucking 100. I'm yelling at people, put your fucking cell phone down and fuck with the French.
You know what? You know where the one thing I do remember from the party making it to the internet was Inman drinking my urine.
Oh,
Somehow somebody made that a YouTube clip right away.
Yeah, that's still up there.
Yeah, Inman
was arguing that no, it's okay. You can drink urine to survive in the desert.
Yeah.
And then Andy.
But yeah, the only reason that would
pisses
be
in a
valid
cup.
is if we were out of beer and out of water, and we
Andy-
had both.
No, but you were daring him to. But then Andy pisses in a cup and says, "Go ahead and drink it," and he chugs it. He's like, "You can only drink your own urine to survive. You can't drink other people's urine. It's already
Yeah.
gone
So
through
he's
yours."
drinking everybody's piss.
Just Andy's.
You remember when
and then
you
he tried to
remember
claim
when you stripped him
who
of
made
his
him, who
of
made
his
him king
title?
of the party? Yeah, who made him king of the party?
Oh, I don't know.
I was trying to think of that. Was
who
it
could
Lynn Shawcroft couldn't make a decision?
No.
I got it. This is my oh my God, this is the best one. And Glenn Will, you're part of this one. James Inman came walking up, and it was it's Brendan Walsh, Brent Erickson, and myself. And James Inman walks up, and we try to convince him that you can light a cigarette from the flash of a camera. And we do this with Brendan Walsh, like all of a sudden, like they approach him with a camera and the cigarette's lit, and James Inman's, "Oh, no way, no, you're fucking with me. You guys are fucking with me.
You're fucking with me."
Out of nowhere, Glenn Wool walks up, and Brendan steps to him with the camera, and Glenn Wool comes up with a lit cigarette. Blows. We're fucking amazed that it happened. James Inman is out of. He can't fuck. There's no way. Glenn Wool came from out of nowhere. There was no setup, but like there was a little like magician assistant, like, "Hey, you're gonna go this way. I'm gonna go," and there was a whole thing. And he pulled his face up with a lit cigarette after a flash went off from a digital camera. And to this day, and I know James Inman doesn't even know how to work a computer. He will never listen to this. So fake.
He
and
builds
so,
websites.
And so beautiful in the
Still doesn't know how they work.
so beautiful in the fact that Glenn Wool walked up out of nowhere and did this thing, and then, of course, became the king of the party.
Yeah. Well, that's my favorite thing about my reign is I don't remember any of these stories. Like I really, it's
Okay.
yeah. That,
Okay,
like,
but-
I look on that with amazement. Like that guy sounds really cool. I wish I could have done something like that.
The first year of the party, it was just Doug. It was the first year of the
30
man
of
show.
us, 35.
There's like 35 people. L.A. drugs found their way. It was fun, but I was everybody was just kind of standing around, and I knew instinctively to paint myself blue and get naked, and I had my dog, and I got on that curve, and then I came down the hill with the skates, and I didn't know we were competing. Otherwise, I would have tried a little harder, but Doug made me king of the party, and then I had to make a king of the party, and it was like Becker. There was a bunch of people the next year. Naked Clown was like right up there. It's like, holy shit, there's a lot of people really trying. But Doug made me king of the party arbitrarily, and so I made.
No, it was your raid on the Japanese, the yellow devil in the campground.
That
was the first year, so we didn't have
Well,
it
attacking
private.
Japanese always wins
so
prizes.
Other people could show up, and they show up in the middle of our party, and there's camping Japanese people. We still have footage of the assault.
Yeah. It was 3 girls in a squirter
it
cup
was
or something.
our response.
We had
to
an
Pearl
embedded
Harbor.
journalist, as Andy says, we can't have this yellow scourge across the street.
They did take over the camp area.
They're intense, and we have super soakers, so we go in like it's a Vietnam style thing.
We got good footage of them running like Godzilla into the cameras.
It's
and they
really
got,
funny.
I know.
Like we just assaulted them with water balloons.
I know
and
when it's
super
hot and
soakers.
there's Asian people, you need to mix it up, and it's fun.
But this is like 11 in the morning, so they're
Yeah.
just getting out of their tents, and we're humping through the bushes, and then go just start spraying
think-
them. And we literally have like a Japanese girl or guy. He screams like a girl.
that
whatever
was
it
in
is.
the
They go,
in the time frame of the embedded journalist and all that. So we're getting a lot of.
All right,
war
we're getting
footage.
way too
Yeah,
off.
yeah. So
you know.
we were
We're way
stalking
too
them.
inside. All right. Hey, since I do this dumb podcast, I should be dropping my dates. Starting October 8th, we start driving on the road back with me and Bing Bong Bingo Bingaman and Ding Dong Ggreg Chaille and the lovely orange-haired Tracy. We start in El Paso October 8th, and then we go on to Albuquerque, Amarillo, Springfield, Missouri, Columbia, Missouri, Peoria, Illinois, Rock Island, Illinois. That's the shit, right? Chicago, Grand Rapids, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Oh, I'll be going back there again, I'm sure. Cleveland, Ohio, Flint, Michigan, where I'm known and loved, Detroit, and then we're on a plane home to pack our shit for Australia. That was a break, and now back to the podcast already in action. All right, so where were we? We're in Vegas.
Well, here's the I was the king of the party, but if there's any kids at home listening,
Who did you make king of the party?
I made Inman king of the party.
But then
Oh,
the
you're
dog
the
sense
one.
of
Okay.
fucking humor. But this is where the king of the party gets you, kids. Last night, because I was a young, good-looking guy when I was king of the party, and
You're stretching
we
it
all?
a little.
yeah. Well, no, I've seen pictures. I was
Yeah.
better looking. Last night, I was drunkenly rambling around Fremont Street and found a band that just plays into the street. Like they're called Arena, and they play 80s hits from hard rock. And my cousin Carrie was there, and Brian Hennigan were also there. They both left and left me watching this 80s tribute band. And the point came where they were playing their Poison section of their show. So I'm standing in a whole crowd of people singing every word to a Poison song
By yourself
by myself.
midnight.
At 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning.
And a man approached just me and said, I got some wonderful cocaine. And I just
Is
said,
there any other kind?
Yeah, I waved him off. Realizing that it was a scam and a trick. And then I watched him walk away from the crowd of a bunch of people singing every word of a Poison song. So he looked on that whole thing and went, "That's the dumbest man in that crowd. I'm going to go sell him some salt." And once I declined the offer, he just gave up. He's like, "There's no stupider person in Las Vegas than the king of the party."
I'm calling it a night. We're done.
Yeah,
We're done here.
He went back home and relieved his child of its constipation with what he was going to sell me.
Finish that carefully.
My dad loved Fremont Street. My dad's dead now, but when I would come to Vegas with him, he always wanted to come to Fremont Street. He thought it was really cool. And then the first few times I played here, I did that LA Comedy Club at the Four Queens, and you stay right down there in Fremont. Fremont Street is fucking awesome because of the street bands playing.
Yeah,
and then you
I
got
thought it was great.
drugged out homeless people fucking dancing, and some of them don't have shoes on and they're all dirty and shit. And it's their one moment of joy in life. They're probably sleeping in the fucking desert and drinking water out of a fucking tire. Who knows what their life is.
Now I'm gonna do a little soft shoe to unskinny bop.
Yeah,
I was down there. I was staying there. I don't know. It was 5 years ago, and they had these different themes in the summer. And they did the Summer of Love down there, and so they did this Woodstock theme. And then they had these boards put up of the crowds in at Woodstock, and you could take pictures. But it's scummy ass Fremont Street, and they're trying to get this '60s love vibe.
But that never occurred here.
No, I know.
If hippies showed up on Fremont Street in 1969, they'd have beat the fuck out of them, put them on a bus,
Shotgun butt in the face.
Hey man, anyone want to see Bugsy Siegel's shoe print? Because it's on my face.
You know what the problem is with that is that you can't gamble with vibes. You can't gamble with vibes. Hey man, we need a miracle. We all do. It's Vegas. Keep your van running, motherfucker.
Oh man, I'm gonna have
black.
Karma don't mean shit when the wheels turning, motherfucker.
You don't know how much pumpkin bread I owe to the house now.
Are these chips vegan? No, faggot. Summer of love never happened.
We're in Vegas at the Plaza Hotel, which is connected to the Greyhound bus station.
I noticed that pulling in. What a classy joint.
It's
It's
a spectacle.
Every summer is the summer of love when you're near the Greyhound bus station pullout. Because, couples are formed there right on the bus sometimes. Random
no one
assignments.
comes in or
And
out of
not
Vegas
always consensual.
on a bus and having a good day.
That's why the NFL started taking planes.
Do they still have the TV seats?
No, we were
Trying to
just
be
talking
topical.
about
Remember
that.
the TV seats at the bus station?
Yeah, we were just talking. I've looked for them on eBay. I want one at my house. The old bus station seats where you'd put a quarter in for several minutes.
Adventures
But
in
you felt so
babysitting.
wealthy. You felt so wealthy for 25 cents.
The Greyhound.
You can afford something these other people can't afford.
You don't know what's going on in Donahue, do you?
I
do.
The Greyhound's
dress
like
up.
a mode of transportation. You get on it, you have to act like you're either going to prison or you're walking the tough streets of L.A. or New York. How am I going to be perceived? I got to act like a sketchy motherfucker to keep people away, or that guy looks stabby.
Well, I thought that was amazing, that story in Canada where it was an Asian guy, right, in Quebec, and he cut off a guy's head on
that's
the back of
that's
a
Winnipeg.
Greyhound?
Winnipeg.
Was it
on the way to
it was on the
it
Greyhound,
happened.
right?
Here's the thing.
Why we looked
I
at Glenn
never,
because he's Canadian.
Yeah,
to verify
I never
the
thought
story.
it was that odd. I know people like that. I just went.
But you talk about there was people on the bus, and you can see everybody trying to pretend like they're sleeping. Nobody wants to get involved.
I know.
You know how hard it is to cut off a human head?
No, we don't, because they don't show the beheadings in any of these beheading videos. But that's a new
on,
bit
man.
that I'm
Hey.
not going to spend on a podcast.
My wife snores. I constantly sleep through 6 minutes of gurgling.
That's how you'd have to be like, no, I didn't hear. It's like a chainsaw going off. Somebody getting their head sawed off.
That was Winnipeg, because when I went and we stayed in the hotel was an old like rooming house that upstairs where someone had been murdered. Like it was a whole murder tour the first time we played Winnipeg.
Well, like
notorious murders.
people.
Not
Who's been murdered there?
some like two guys. They were. From what I understand, they were like the "shut up, little man" guys.
Oh, yeah. Classic tape from the 90s.
Yeah.
Shut up, little man.
Shut
Shut up, little man.
Shut up, little.
That was what a great story that tape was. Like some guy lived next door and he just put
Yeah.
a microphone out in the
Have you seen the
windowsill.
documentary?
No.
Oh, it's a great "Shut Up,
Well,
Little Man"
they found
documentary.
those guys?
Yeah, no, they one was dead. They found another.
Spitting on his
I forget how it goes, but it's but it's the two guys that taped them that were telling the story. They were just
What's the
young
name of the
kids.
documentary?
Shut up, little man.
Oh, great.
Shut up, little man.
All right, so
Here's the
Go
thing about Canada and those sort of peccadillos. People don't realize how, because we've got a reputation of being very polite. But I just moved back to Vancouver and I went and visited.
so polite that if you want to saw off another man's head on a Greyhound bus, no one's going to butt into your
Well, he
business.
probably had a real good reason to do it. Nobody saws a head off for no reason. You know? Jesus Christ, that's like a tree.
maybe
You
it
know,
wouldn't
you don't cut them down unless you're cold.
Maybe wouldn't share the armrest.
I'm respectful of other people's religion, but some people take it too far.
I just had to go back, and there's an area of Vancouver called East Hastings, and I went and visited some friends in that area, and had to take a cab out, and I saw something like it's a crazy area. It's the poorest area in North America, including Mexico. And people forget this.
Come on. In Vancouver?
East Hastings. Yes, East Hastings.
Is that where we play? Is that where the rickshaw stop? is?
Yes.
Yeah,
That
I was
is.
going to say,
That is.
I believe
It's
you now.
on East
yeah,
Hastings.
oh, it's bad.
That is the poorest area in North America. Now, I was taking a cab
I
down.
let Bingo walk a block from the bar I was hiding in that I was scared to be in alone to the gig, and I was scared for Bingo.
I took a cab and I saw the weirdest thing I've ever fucking seen, and I've been around the world on many
on Chinky's
occasions.
grave.
Did you find your baby?
I saw a dude in a Lego mask, like a full. He'd made it, like it was like a Darth Vader, but like just all different Lego pieces into like a bird beak of Lego-ness. And he was walking. He had a bus, like a plastic bus pan full of other Lego pieces with a rubber mannequin head on its side in the bus pan, and he was in a rush. I don't know where the fuck he was going, but he like, oh, I gotta get this. That's the fucking oddest thing. You just
The
throw
last
your
time
hands
I
up.
did the Montreal Festival, I forget what street. There was a nice restaurant. There was some guy sitting in there, and he had weird shit on the table, like Lego pieces, and he was selling them for $1. And it was weird that this restaurant let the guy sit in there, and he was just some weird-looking homeless guy, and he's just like odd.
I
bits
think that
he
was
had, like,
Doug's just for spite.
That might have been Andy at the Room 10 Hidden Treasures Gem Shop and Comedy Club. What were you going to say?
What's that?
You were gonna...
Hidden treasures.
Oh no, I was thinking what Glenn was talking about, but I lost it.
All right, we're close to wrapping this up because we should have just filmed this in retrospect for your documentary. Did you bring your camera?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Don't use that as the lead-in.
Hang on, you're doing a documentary.
That would have taken foresight. I would have gotten here earlier.
Is
had I
this
known
about
you
my
were recording.
shoe? Am I going to learn what happened to
I don't
my
have your
shoe while I
shoes,
was
No,
on
that's the first 48.
He looks
It's
like
cold
he's got
case files.
shoes.
We're going back to.
Have you fished him? officer?
No, I concluded that it was one of those crimes that I couldn't make a conclusion.
Yeah.
Rhodes is remorseful. if
He's
he
hired
did
a
it.
private investigator to find the real killer.
There was
Tell us about your documentary.
There was a great episode of Gunsmoke where what was the sheriff's
You
name?
should have just ended on
He
that.
turns to his
It's a great
he lets the
episode of
bad guy get
Gunsmoke.
away, and he turns
Good
to his
night.
partner and he says, "You can't win them all." And that's the end of the show.
Was it Steve
They didn't
Austin?
solve the crime that episode.
Steve Austin.
Tell me
Like
about
the
what's.
Bionic Man.
Hang on, everyone. Documentary.
I'm making a documentary, and I actually
You're
went
a world
bankrupt
traveler?
making this film a long time ago. It's
That's where that NBC money went.
a lot of it went to making this documentary, and
How far did an extra pair of shoes get the documentary?
Come on.
well,
He's forgiven.
I'm just about finished with the thing now, and it's taken a long time now because things are on
Well,
video.
you've been traveling around the world filming shit for
years. For years. So I've got footage from, everything all over the world.
Well,
And then having a late night talk show in Amsterdam and the travel show and, friends, comedians all over the world,
Rhodes is a world traveler.
Well, yeah, Wool
Yeah,
is
he's
Wool
all
is,
right.
Wool's following.
I'll take him.
Two of them. Glenn Wool.
We should have compared passport thickness, Glenn. I didn't know you were going to be here. I'd have
He's
brought the
following
passport.
in your footsteps.
No, he got a pad now.
His is-
Glenn's
his
my
is-
hero.
His is shorter.
And you did the coolest thing, getting the house in Bisbee. I mean, and then Vancouver is one of my favorite cities in the world. So, I'm inspired. I just don't know where the fuck. I
How
wanna
many
live.
years have you been on the road?
8. I've had everything in
Hey,
storage.
Tom, have you
But on
Eight?
the, but
jeez.
8
Eight's the
years
worst.
I haven't lived anywhere. But on
about
the road,
Flagstaff?
on the road, I've been on the road for
Yeah, no, but I mean
28
living on the road without a permanent residence has been
8
eight
years.
already?
Yeah.
I was saying 5 last night.
No.
Dallas?
No, man. I was 5 before it ended. But I was talking to Husey, and he's like, he got fucked up from being on. He got exhausted, and
Yeah.
I was talking
Steve
to him.
Hughes, fucking brilliant.
Brilliant. Favorite
brilliant
comedian of all
comic.
time.
And I was talking to him in Sydney, and he was like Glenn, I lost my mind. 4 years on the road, and he goes, "How long have you been on the road now?" And I was like, 5. I'm talking.
I did 3 early in my career, back when it was funny to live out of your car.
Yeah.
And Andy is just about to start living on the road. And he
Living
doesn't
out of
even
my
have
car?
gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's the separation between artist and itinerant. It's just
it's a mobile
Do
yurt.
you need to be anywhere? Not really.
I always
No
said
way.
that. Like, when I lived out of my car for 3 years, you were young and people, he has a dream, and they'd be behind you and pack you a sack lunch. But if you're fucking 47 and living out of your car, no one wants to be around you at all.
They don't even want to lift.
So you guys are gonna clear out or what? I slept in my car last night. I'm not living in it.
Yeah, that doesn't mean there
But
wasn't other
I do
nights.
have
You
my
just
shoes.
admitted
I
to
do
last
have my
night.
shoes inventoried, and I'm not afraid to show Rhodes where I parked.
He knows where you parked. He's already been in there.
He's been
Check his
examining the
shoes.
camera
All right,
angles.
we're going to wrap this thing up. Vegas. It's just starting. Everyone's in town. Fucking Rogan's even in town doing UFC tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ralphie May's in town. Dan Tosh is
Rogan
in
got
town.
me tickets.
Ralphie May
You going?
fighting on
Good.
UFC
Can't
for
fucking
chicken
wait.
wings.
Have you
going?
been before?
What are you doing tomorrow night?
Well, I don't know.
When's your show, Doug?
I'd go to.
We can- we
You've
can
seen
talk
my
about it.
show. It's the same show as Sacramento.
Can you give
Go
me
to
a
fucking
ticket?
UFC. Well,
You go to Carrie?
But I
Cousin
can only
Carrie?
go after my show, so I'll be there for
can
the
I
title
plug
fight.
this? I'll be sleeping in my car for the next 2.5 nights. If somebody'd like to stop
Yeah.
by and get me high or yank me off, I'd much appreciate it, y'all.
I'll leave the
All right.
window cracked.
Who
Just
has
throw
a-
something in there.
who? We're sponsored by who? The guest.
Tom Rhodes Radio, my podcast.
There you go.
Tom
Plug
Rhodes
it.
documentary.
TomRhodesRadio.com.
Tom, if you can you get Cousin Carrie a ticket too, or do you want to go to see Stanhope? Stanhope's new show is very good. But there'll be people punching each other in the face.
I only got 2 tickets. You can warm up the seats, and I'll join you once my show's over.
There you go.
Yeah, baby.
All right, so who's your sponsor?
I'm gonna bring a.
Hey, talk about this off the air. Who's your sponsor?
Guy named Tony, and I don't like him.
That'll do it. All right, that's the Doug Stanhope podcast, and now play the Matoid.
Party time. Party time. Party time. Party time. Drink your drinks and eat your eats. It's party time. Laugh your laughs and eat your eats. It's party time. Smile your smiles and blue your blues. It's party time. Dance a dance and shoe your shoes. It's party time. Howl your howls and suck your socks. It's party time. Yeah. Oh baby, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Everybody, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. One more. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Here we go. Party time. Yeah. Party time. Party time. Yeah. Party time. 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 Hey. Party